Hey, this is Jamie at Useful Knowledge. Welcome to our new tiny cabin. Come on in. Okay, so what we did, we bought a storage building that was already built. It was a 10 by 24 storage building. It had a 6-foot front porch on it. So what we had was about 10 by 18 to actually work with. And so we wanted a tiny hunting cabin, so that's what we built out of it. So we're going to take you through how we built it from the start. We've got the storage building. We'll show you some video on that and everything that we did to get it up to this stage. So first, we're going to give you a tour. So as you walk in, we have the bed. And this is just a full-size bed. It would have accepted a queen size if we wanted to. And this bed is actually just built out of 2x. We just built the bed out of 2x. Okay, we got a little area for our TV. Haven't put it up yet, but this is set up for the TV. We've got 2 studs right here, and we're going to put our TV right there, and we've got a plug for it. So we live in North Alabama, and obviously it gets cold in North Alabama. I mean, we get down in the teens a lot. So we put a heater in here, and so what I did, I put a Dynaglow propane heater in here, and it's a 10,000 BTU heater. I'll go ahead and turn it on just so you can see what it looks like. Now the cool thing about this heater is all the heat comes up. So basically you can sit there and touch that. And so for a tiny space, if something was to get pushed up against it, you wouldn't really have to worry about it catching on fire, because like I said, all the heat's right here, and that's already really hot coming out. But right here, it's not like one of your brick heaters that you would have to worry about something being pushed up against. Okay, so we got a little area for our chairs. We're eventually going to put probably a recliner here at some point. Okay, right on the other side of the heater, we have our kitchenette. And the kitchen is about a 6x6. Actually, what I went for here was something 6 feet, because the cabinets, the way you match them up, they actually equal 6 feet. So you can't really tell here, but I've got a 2-foot cabinet, a couple of 18 inches, and then another 1-foot cabinet when it's turned. And so that makes 6 feet. Same with the bottom. The countertop was actually already cut at 6 feet from the big box store. I put a microwave in here, and we've got a cooktop. We've got a sink. All I did with the sink is I put just a utility faucet on it. That was one of the cheapest, and it had the best reviews at the big box store. We also have our refrigerator. The refrigerator is just an apartment size refrigerator, and it's great for 3 or 4 people, but obviously I'm over here by myself. But I like that a lot better than having your real tiny refrigerators. So where we're at here at this hunting camp, we have electricity out here, and so I actually wired this hunting cabin so that we would have electricity. So here's one of the neatest things that we did. We actually have a 6-gallon water heater that we put in here. Now that runs off of 120. It's not a 240. Runs off of 120. We've tried it several times. It's enough for about a 7-minute shower. So if you need more than a 7-minute shower, you should really think about a 10-gallon water heater to go in there, or bigger. But you can buy a 6-gallon or a 10-gallon 120 volt, not 240, 120 volt. Okay, and finally, here's our bathroom. So we put a regular toilet in, and we've got a little shower. Now we're gonna finish out below the shower, but right now, what we did is we put PVC board up on the wall, and the actual base for this is an RV tub. I actually ordered an RV tub online and put that in. Made sure the base was stabilized, so there's no issue walking in and out it. And we got a little cabinet up above. And the most important thing, especially if our producer John is over here, so for lights, you may have seen this already. These are just bulbs. These are just 3 LED bulbs, and it's plenty bright for this whole space. It is more than enough, and that's a 100-watt equivalent LED bulb. Okay, so, and one of the things we have is we just got a regular panel in. You can watch the video and we'll show you how we actually how we run the panel. That's our water heater. So what we do with our water heater, we turn it off when we leave and we drain the whole system. We're going to show you how we drain the system. Okay, what I did with my electrical outlets is I ran everything just like you would in a regular house. And this is just to keep you safe. You can see my wire going to this outlet box. I have one of those plastic style staples holding the wire in the middle of the stud. And then when you drill a hole into the stud to run your wire through just like you would in a house. Okay, where we have our tiny cabin, I actually have power on site, but it's never guaranteed. So what I did, we wired up a box so that would handle an RV receptacle, and this is a 50 amp RV receptacle. So powering my tiny cabin, I actually have a 50 amp RV cord. And like I said, the power's never guaranteed, so if I needed to, or if I wanted to move this, I can just unplug it, and I can always plug this into a generator. Okay, on the other end, here's the RV cord coming in. I've got my 2 hots coming to this breaker here, and that supplies the whole breaker box. Obviously, I've got a neutral and a ground coming in, and the rest of it is wired up really just like a regular house. So obviously, if you're not comfortable doing this, or if it's illegal to do it in your area, you need to hire someone that is experienced actually wiring up things. And here's what it looks like when you get the panel back on. Okay, so what I've done is I've added ceiling joist all the way down this storage building. And so what this is going to do, it's going to give me a place where I can put some R19 insulation and make this little hunting cabin a lot warmer. So all I've got to do now is I'm going to actually use screws, and I'm going to screw these in. You can use nails if you wanted to, but I'm going to use screws. And then we're going to put our insulation in. Okay, we've got our insulation up. This is just R13 wall insulation for 2x4s. And now we're going to work on the ceiling insulation. Okay, we're moving along quite well with our ceiling insulation. And I just want to give you a tip here. I've got a scrap piece of 2x4, and that's my helping hand up here. And what I do is I just put it up basically in the center, and I just put the insulation through that, and then that way it'll help hold the end while I'm stapling over here. And once I get done with this set of joist, I'll move it on to another set of joist. Okay, so we've got all the perimeter walls and the ceilings covered with plywood at this point. The only walls we have to put up now is the bathroom, and I'm going to do that after we put up the floor covering. And yeah, that's a little, I understand some people's going to think that's a little sketchy, but it's a lot easier to roll out one piece of linoleum and then come back and put a wall over it. Okay, I've started putting up the walls, and something that I've never used before, but I want to strongly suggest you try this. I actually ordered this off of Amazon. It's called a Blind Mark XT. And what actually happens is you put some magnets into your outlet or your light switch box, and this block right here actually lines up to those. Obviously you can see this is my right next to my front door. I'm going to have 2 light switches, one for my front porch and one for the interior. And you can see where I've already marked this, and now I'm going to mark this, and this is going to give me a perfect idea of where I need to cut. Okay, I'm going to save you my roto zipping because I don't have great roto zipping skills. However, the magnets was spot on, and this is a Blind Mark XT. So we're going to keep using it, and I'll give you a recommendation later. Okay, so we laid out our linoleum yesterday, and everywhere we had a little hump from where it was rolled up for so long, we actually put a 2x4 and laid it across so we could get the humps out, and it worked very well. So now, I'm not going to glue this down. I'm going to leave this floating. So what you can do, you can staple it, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some flathead screws around the edges about 1 foot apart, and then when I put my trim over that, you won't be able to see those screws. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing with this linoleum. I'm just going around the edges about every foot and putting one of these screws in. And these are just called wafer head screws, and basically it's a very, very flat headed screw. And I know there's going to be some purists out there that say this is the wrong way to do it, but I didn't want to spend the extra for the glue and the extra for the underlayment to be able to glue this linoleum down. And if I ever want to come in here and replace it, I can do it quickly. And honestly, it's a hunting cabin, and this is going to be fine. All right, we went and got the cabinets, and we are installing them. They're going in really nicely, and we actually measured right, so we've got our sink base to go in, and we'll be done. Okay, it's getting dark on us, but we got the countertop on as well. And all I did was I went to a big box store and just got a pre-cut 6-foot Formica type countertop. Same with the cabinets. These were the completely unfinished, pretty inexpensive cabinets, and you put them all together and that made 6 feet as well. So we measured it right, we did it right, and so we've got a nice little kitchen area. Okay, for propane for my heater, I have two 40-pound propane tanks, and I have them connected up where I can have both open, or I can have either or open. So that way, if you run one all the way down, you can have the other one. I have a regulator, and then I just bring that from the regulator over to an adapter, which goes into my black iron pipe. And that little adapter is right there. And those are easily bought at a hardware store. One thing that we did is everything you see in here, get some light in there, everything you see in there is slanted towards the outside. Now, I ran this with PEX, but so with the hot water heater, you can see how it comes out slanted up. And so when we drain this thing, when we actually leave here so that nothing freezes up, everything's slanted. It runs through the hot water system all the way out to the outside. So everything is slanted from the toilet to the shower all the way up to the hot water heater, and obviously the sink up here. Okay, so what I do to drain this, I take this boiler, and normally it's open like this, and I turn it, I close it. So then I'm going to take off the water. Okay. I'm going to go open up the faucets on the inside, and then I'll come back out here and open that up. So hold on. Okay, so we talked about all the lines, how they were slanted so that I could drain the system easy. And here we go. And that's just the water draining out of the system. And that's going to sit there and drain for probably 3, 4, 5 minutes. And it also gets all the lines, including the ones that go up to the toilet as well. And we're getting some snow over here at the hunting cabin. So we hope you gained some useful knowledge on how we built our tiny cabin out of a storage building. We're going to have more videos as we use this cabin. Thanks for watching.